am Zhao Tangtang, the 6th princess of the Zhao Kingdom. I thought I would always be an unpampered, salted fish forever. But when I was 6 years old, my father emperor suddenly had the ability to read heart voices, and I was pampered to the sky. For the past 6 years, the only thing I've been doing besides eating and waiting for death is digging dog holes, because I know that my second Imperial brother is the male protagonist in this book. And after he usurps the throne, I will become the chicken in the kill the chicken to scare the monkey scenario. That's right. I've been transmigrated into this book since I was born. I know all the plots in this book and have memorized all of them in my mind. But aside from that, all I have is this not-so-smart brain of mine. I've never thought about competing for favor to increase my sense of presence, because I know that I can't win. I've never underestimated the IQ of the ancient people, and I don't feel that I will have a chance to win just because I'm a transmigrator. My biological mother was a maid in the palace. She was bestowed a favor by Emperor Zhao Rui for only one night and became pregnant with me. When I was still in her belly, I often heard my mother, Chu Yue, rubbing me while saying, "My good son, you must be born well. Whether mother will be able to live a good life depends on you." I thought to myself, she's going to be disappointed. Sure enough, after giving birth to me and the midwife said, "Congratulations, it's a little princess." My mother never gave me a glance anymore. With no background, she basically only had this one chance to give birth to a prince. Thus, my birth made her hate me even more. From then on, I lived a life where my father didn't pamper me and my mother didn't love me. Because my mother gave birth to me, she was given the title Chu Jieyu by the emperor. If I were her, I wouldn't be so foolish. Even if I'm only a princess, I'm still the emperor's flesh and blood. It's someone that she should treat well. How stupid. The clothes I wore were only slightly better than those of the palace maids. I ate twice a day with only 2 dishes and 1 soup. Even for meat dish, I could only have them twice a week. The Imperial household department was full of grass on the top of wall who follow where the wind blow. An unpampered princess like me, who had only had one glance at the emperor since I was born, was naturally treated like an invisible person in the palace. And I was also happy to be a salted fish and lived my life in an ordinary way. The turning point came on my 6th birthday. Every year, no one would celebrate my birthday. But I had a personal maid named Biyu. She always went to the Imperial garden to quietly pick some flowers and gave them to me to celebrate my birthday. As for my mother, on this day, she would lie on the bed and cried for the non-existent son that I squeezed away. Very funny. This is the importance of compulsory education. That day, I took Biyu to the Imperial garden. Biyu went to pick flowers for me, while I lay on the stone slab with my eyes closed and my mind wandering. It would be nice if it were always like this. There would be no trouble and no one would pay attention to me. Like an ant, anyone can step on it to death, but no one will specifically step on it. I don't know if I still have a chance to take a look at that father emperor of mine in this life. In the past 5 years, I was still too young and couldn't attend any banquets. This year, I'm already 6 years old. I don't know if he still remembers me, haha. It would be great if I could eat delicious mung bean cake on my birthday. The breeze blew across my face. While I was enjoying it, someone pulled the corner of my clothes. I opened my eyes and saw a little eunuch. When I looked up, I found a handsome man in his 30s, wearing yellow robes, staring at me with full of doubt. Someone who can enter the harem has a group of eunuchs and maids behind him and is wearing yellow robes. He must be that cheap dad of mine. I'm done. Cheap Dad's expression changed from doubt to surprise. What is he surprised about? Is he surprised that he has a daughter he has never seen before? Cheap Dad shook his head and said, "You, come here." I walked over cautiously and was so nervous that I squeezed the corner of my clothes. After walking over, I was blinded by the emperor's appearance. Cheap Dad looked so good. Sure enough, how could that face of my mother alone could give birth to such a little beauty who makes the fish sinking, the goose falling, the moon hiding, the flowers shying, the country full of colors, the sky full of fragrance like me? The emperor suddenly burst out laughing and held my paw. "Who are you?" "See, you this scum father doesn't even know your own daughter, bah." Father Emperor, daughter is the sixth princess, Zhao Tangtang. The emperor raised his eyebrows and asked again, "Sixth princess? Is it your birthday today?" I was horrified. The old eunuch behind the emperor also looked surprised. It seemed that the Imperial household department would have to change their direction again. Damn, how does he know that? Does anyone who wants to be an emperor have to have a very powerful memory? The emperor narrowed his eyes and smiled, which made me even more frightened. Why do you keep smiling? Ah! Am I so funny? Since it's her 6th birthday, why hasn't the palace arranged a birthday banquet? Damn, he even knows that I'm 6 years old. Could it be that this cheap daddy is secretly paying attention to me? But a birthday banquet? Even I don't get enough food to eat every day. How could those dog thieves from the Imperial household department organize a birthday banquet for me? A well-fed man won't know the hunger of a hungry man. Why not eat minced meat? The emperor frowned, and the group of people behind him immediately knelt down in fear. Kneel down or not? Kneel down or not? Forget it. I will just kneel down. Damn! What is this cheap daddy doing? When I just made up my mind to kneel down, the emperor put his arms around me and picked me up. He even unskilledly touched my head. Are my good days coming soon? Could it be that the first time this cheap daddy saw me, he was captured by my incomparably cute appearance? The hand touching my head paused. Cheap dad coughed and said, "Go back to Wendy Palace and prepare a banquet." After saying that, he paused and continued, "Prepare more cakes." This. I shook my feet happily. I was carried all the way to Wendy Palace by cheap daddy. There were a lot of delicacies on the table, and I couldn't help but drool. A handkerchief helped me wipe away the unidentified liquid, and I quickly came back to my senses. Cheap daddy put me on the chair, and Chen Liangfu, the emperor's personal eunuch, helped me clean my hands. Chen Liangfu is cleaning my hands. Damn, I'm about to fly! This is the most trusted and favored eunuch around the emperor. The emperor coughed, took the veil, and personally cleaned my hands. Ah! Daddy! I was speechless with excitement. The emperor suddenly burst into laughter, and I looked over in confusion. This emperor really liked the rumors said. So moody. Try it quickly. Do you like the taste? After finally hearing this, I couldn't wait to grab the 5-spice cake in front of me, and under the surprised eyes of Cheap Daddy and Chen Liangfu, I stuffed a piece directly into my little cherry mouth. Eat slowly. No one will rob it from you. I nodded, but there was still no hint of slowing down in my mouth. Are you joking? I was a sweet tooth in my previous life. No sugar, no happiness. It's rare for me to have sweet foods. Not pouring all the plates down was already a sign of respect for my cheap daddy, okay? I wonder if I can take it away later. Ugh, after finishing this meal, I don't know how long I will have to wait again. The emperor frowned. He called Chen Liangfu and whispered a few words. Chen Liangfu bowed and retreated. I was busy eating and saw that the emperor didn't even move his mouth, so I reluctantly put the osmanthus cake that I thought was the most delicious on his plate. The last piece of osmanthus cake. You leave me so far away. Woohoo! The emperor seemed to be suppressing a smile. He broke the osmanthus cake in half with his noble hands and then stuffed one half into my mouth. This half piece is the last. You can't eat anymore after this or you'll choke. After saying that, he stuffed the remaining half into his mouth. Although I was reluctant to part with it, I knew he was right. After savoring the last piece carefully, I sat upright obediently. The emperor seemed satisfied with my obedience. It's your birthday today? Is there any gift you want? My eyes lit up and I was so happy, but I didn't say it in my mouth. For Father Emperor to accompany daughter having dinner is already the greatest gift. Silver, silver. Gold, gold. If it's allowed, it would be nice if Father Emperor can spend more time with daughter. Don't come. Don't come. Just give me money. Fulfill your child support obligation. The emperor's face changed colors like a palette. Okay, I will stay with you more. My face fell for a second, but I quickly said with a pleasantly surprised expression, "Thank you, Father Emperor." Speechless. The emperor sneered, which scared me very much. Then it's settled. Jen will definitely come to see you often. No. Then how can I still be a salted fish? At this moment, Chen Liangfu walked in carrying a food box. "Sixth princess, this is the cake that the emperor specially ordered this slave to prepare for you. I took it in surprise. He wasn't that bad. You can't eat anymore for today. Daughter understands. After saying that, I happily waited for my cheap dad to ask me to leave. But when the palace maid put away the dinner plates and cheap daddy also went to his work desk, he still didn't ask me to leave. I couldn't help but wink at Chen Liangfu, quietly climbed off the chair, and prepared to run away with my food box. Where do you want to go? I froze. Father Emperor is working, so daughter wants to leave without disturbing Father Emperor. The Emperor laughed. You are quite sensible. Forget it, just go back. Yay! The Emperor pinched his eyebrows with a headache. After I left, he called Chen Liangfu. Go and check. What kind of fish is salted fish? I ignored the waves caused by this incident in the harem. With a food box in my arms, I happily walked back to my home, Chihei Palace. Not long after I returned home, my mother sent her personal maid, Rui, to call me over. Trouble is coming. I put away the food box and took Biyu to my mother's side hall. After entering the door, I sat down on the couch and said, Why does elder sister call this little princess? My mother seemed very dissatisfied with my perfunctory and frowned. Did the princess just meet the emperor? I nodded. At this point, I already understood in my heart that she had heard the news and rekindled her hope of having a son. She and I looked at each other in silence. It took a while before she spoke again. You should know that in order to give birth to you, mother lost a son. I laughed in my heart. Now that I was 6 years old, I could have my own separated yard, and I didn't have to be so careful about what I said. Elder sister is joking. As soon as this little princess appeared in your belly, it was already destined that it's this little princess that would be born. I hope elder sister will stop deceiving herself. Mother held up her silk handkerchief and pointed at me tremblingly. After all, this was the first time I had disobeyed her. You! Why are you so unruly? Come here! After saying that, she took a few steps forward and pulled me to kneel on the ground. In the direction where I was kneeling, there was a memorial tablet. I was shocked. My mother was really brave. Privately hiding a memorial tablet in the palace can be heavily punished. No, I can't let her ruin my life as a salted fish. I have to find a way out. For what you just said, apologize to him. She didn't need to say who this he was, and I already knew that it must be Chujiyu's imaginary son. Oh, are you bullying me because I'm young and weak? I suddenly flinged forward, as if I couldn't kneel firmly, and hit the wooden tablet. Pah! There's no way I'll let you make me kneel. No, you bastard! What did you do? Do you want to kill him a second time? After saying that, she fainted amidst Rui's exclamation. I stood up calmly. It seemed that her sickness was quite serious. Biyu, go find an Imperial doctor to check on the elder sister. Also check if she has any mental disease. After saying that, I didn't care anymore and turned around to go back to my room. My good days couldn't be ruined. Even if it was my mother who gave birth but never raised me. At night, I played with the jigsaw puzzle I asked Biyu to make. While thinking in my heart about which concubine would be happy and which concubine would be worried tonight. I guess he is going to the Imperial concubine D's palace again tonight. This cheap daddy looks people based on their appearance. There was footsteps stopped at the door. My ears perked up. I thought it was Biyu. Biyu, bring in my pastries. The person walked in. You really don't listen to what Jen said. I raised my head in horror. Father Emperor. Oh my god, why is he coming here? The other people in the palace must hate me. The Emperor suddenly laughed again. I didn't know what's funny about me. I was wondering in my heart if my father was sick, but still acted timidly and stepped forward to salute. And my mother came over immediately after hearing the news. See the Emperor! Quietly, her joy almost flew out of her face. This cheap mother must think that her son is about to be born again. Tsk-tsk. If he is really born, she may not hate me so much. Maybe she will even forget me, which is very good. The Emperor's voice, who was about to ask her to get up, momentarily paused. He glanced at Chu Jieyu, who was kneeling, then walked towards me and picked me up. I'm asking you, why don't you listen to what Jen said? Daughter is wrong. Daughter just wants to reward myself a piece before going to bed. If you don't come, I'll have already finished eating and will be lying on the bed to sleep. The Emperor asked Chen Liangfu to bring up the food box, took out a piece of mung bean cake and fed it into my mouth with his own hand. Mung bean cake! This must be our tacit understanding. I happily ate it in one bite, and the emperor smiled happily. After watching me finish eating, the emperor said, "It's your birthday today, so I'll let go of you for this once. From now on, you have to listen to Jen's words." I nodded fiercely. At this time, Biu suddenly broke in and said, "Princess, I've got the ointment." I really wanted to slap my forehead. This is too fake. My cheap dad is not a fool. Biu, you're so smart yet so stupid. The emperor frowned. "Why do you need the ointment?" Mother, who was kneeling on the ground, started shaking. "Are you scared now? Why aren't you afraid when you hurt me?" The emperor glanced at Chujayu thoughtfully. He stopped Biu when she was about to open her mouth. "If Chujayu can't treat Jen's daughter well, then don't raise her. In the future, Jen will raise her myself." Chujayu suddenly raised her head. I suddenly raised my head. Chen Liangfu suddenly raised his head. Damn, what a luck! Liangfu, tell people to pack the princess's things and move them to my Qinzheng palace today. Tomorrow, call some craftsmen to make a small bed. Nuo. After saying that, he held me in his arms and left without looking back. Everyone in the palace knew that Chu Jieyu was doomed. After being carried into Qinzheng Hall, I was excited. Damn! Can I sleep on the dragon bed tonight? Ah! The emperor frowned. Liangfu, find a Momo to teach the sixth princess ethics tomorrow. I was dumbfounded. Don't! My palm will be slapped! Find the gentler one. Chen Liangfu responded with a smile. I climbed onto the dragon bed using my hands and feet. It's so big. The dragon bed is so big. They must be afraid that my father would roll over and fall off while sleeping, making him lose face. The emperor lifted me up with a dark look on his face. You went up before washing up. Is this what your mother taught you? Oh, she didn't teach me anything. Chen Liangfu stepped back and ordered the eunuchs and maids to prepare things for washing. He took Biyu, who was about to go preparing with them, and said, Miss Biyu, you don't have to do these things yourself in the future. Your status has increased a lot now. Biyu happily thanked the other party for the reminder. In the Qinzheng Hall, after washing me, Father Emperor went to his desk and continued to review the memorial. He's quite kind to me. I can't bear to watch him die. The teacup on the table was knocked over. Chen Liangfu immediately came to clean it up. That second prince is really an unfilial thing, I thought angrily. Seeing as my cheap dad treats me quite well, when the time comes, I will take him into the dog holes I have dug these past 3 years. After all, if I want to be a salted fish after I go out, I must have a father to raise me. Well, even if he doesn't raise me, after I do business, it's not a problem to raise a dad. The emperor suddenly stood up. I looked at him doubtfully. What time is it? And you haven't gone to bed yet. Go to bed. After saying that, he got on the bed and threw me in the innermost part of the bed. As we were lying on the bed, I was about to close my eyes when my father suddenly asked, Do you like your Imperial brothers? Daughter doesn't see them very often, but daughter definitely likes them. As if. The emperor seemed to be interested. He suddenly turned to look at me, held up his head and said, What do you think of your eldest Imperial brother? Cultured and elegant. A nerd who dotes on me. What about your second Imperial brother? He has a nice smile. A tiger with smiling face. A heartless thief. He killed his own father for the throne. After a long time, I didn't hear the emperor ask again. Damn, does he fall asleep so soon? I turned my head to look over, and sure enough, really like a pig. I closed my eyes, covered myself and my cheap dad with a quilt, and fell asleep. Hence, I didn't get to see my father emperor's fully awake eyes when my little snoring sounded. The next day, I slept until the sun was 3 poles high before I woke up. Is my mother being so kind and not coming to torture me today? Oh, now I live in my father emperor's palace. When Chen Liangfu saw that I was awake, he smiled and asked a maid to bring the wash basin. I let them toss me around like a puppet. Freshened up, changed clothes. Today, the maid tied double buns for me and secured them with red ribbons. It was very festive and matched my round face. Why do I look like a New Year painting doll? Afterwards, Chen Liangfu picked me up and walked out. When I saw the route we took, dude, this is the way to go to the court in the Zichen Palace. I put my panicked hands around Chen Liangfu's neck and asked, Eunuch Chen, where are we going? Chen Liangfu replied with a smile. The emperor took pity on the princess and was afraid that the princess would be bored when she woke up, so he ordered this slave to carry the princess to the court. Oh my god. Damn it, after this, I'll definitely become the sieve of the entire harem. I really didn't know which nerve of my imperial father didn't connect correctly. In the Zichan Palace, I nestled in the emperor's arms and was watched by all of the civil and military officials. Not long after, the prime minister spoke. Your Majesty, this is contrary to the norm. I curled my lips and thought to myself, this old man is very bad. It is mostly his fault that the second prince decided to rebel. It's normal that he won't be able to see me being favored. The emperor hugged me tightly. It's not your turn to dictate what Zhen wants to do. If there are things, say them directly. If there are no things, leave the court. I and all the civil and military officials below put on the same horrified expression. Hey, is this cheap dad being possessed by something? Hasn't he always been the most tolerant towards the prime minister? Because of his merits in accompanying the dragon, the emperor has never shown a black face towards him. I took a glance and saw that the prime minister's face was as black as coal. Your Majesty, hundreds of people are now in dire straits due to the heavy floods in the southern region. This minister pleads with Your Majesty to allocate funds for disaster relief. Here it comes. My little hands tightened and I grabbed my father's dragon robe. Father looked at me with an unclear look and then asked the prime minister to continue his words. This minister believes that the eldest prince holds a distinguished status, so it would be more appropriate to delegate other princes to deliver relief money and food to the disaster area instead. Oh, his next words must be, this minister thinks that the second prince can go and hone his skills. This minister thinks that the second prince can go and hone his skills. Look, look, look. Then the second prince takes 300,000 taels of disaster relief money to recruit troops, buy horses, and purchase land in the southern region, lies to this foolish father of mine, and then rebels with the reasons of the people being in dire straits, the emperor being unworthy of his throne and being condemned by God. It's really ridiculous. How can you blame this silly dad of mine for natural disasters? The emperor lifted me up and patted my back, as if coaxing me to sleep. Zhen already has other plan for the second prince. My esteemed ministers, who among the remaining princes do you think should be sent? The third imperial brother is the best for sure. He is wholeheartedly devoted to the eldest imperial brother and to the people. His martial arts are also very good. Although he is a little stupid, he is very loyal. When the second prince rebelled, he even stood in front of the emperor and the eldest imperial brother by himself. Oh, and in front of me too. My third imperial brother is the regret that I couldn't get over. This minister thinks the third prince is suitable for this task. The general of Weiwu stepped forward and said, the general of Weiwu is the martial arts teacher of the third prince. This minister thinks the fifth prince is suitable. Although he is young, it's time for him to gain experience. The speaker was the Minister of Finance. I snorted in my heart and thought, funny, if you regard disaster relief as a field to gain experience, doesn't that mean you treat the people as playthings? Bang! The memorial on the father's desk was thrown in the face of the Minister of Finance. Everyone in the hall knelt down in fear. Third prince, obey the order. The confused third prince stepped forward and knelt down. Son is here! Accept the order to take 300,000 taels of silver and 100 carts of grain as an imperial envoy to the southern region for disaster relief. Son obeys the order. The matter of disaster relief was settled. After the court, I broke away from my father's arms and asked for some time to go out and play. After that, I rubbed my little hands and waited in the imperial garden. Every time my third imperial brother saw me, he would accompany me to play in the imperial garden, and then brought some snacks from his residence for me. But our meeting time wasn't really much. After all, the third imperial brother is older, and it is not convenient for him to enter and leave the harem. But he saw me in the main hall today, and he would definitely come. My ears twitched, and sure enough, he was here. Sixth sister! Third brother! The third imperial brother picked me up and pinched my nose. Sixth sister has gained a lot of weight again. Not bad. Look, the pear blossom cakes that Imperial brother had the servant bring for you are so delicious. Before the food box was opened, I could already smell the tangy fragrance. I happily let Biyu accept it. This time, the third Imperial brother was going to travel far, and I had a gift for him. The second prince failed to get the task for disaster relief as he wished. He might resort to some dirty tricks. I quietly stuffed the sleeve crossbow I made into the sleeve of my third brother. I secretly collected the materials and made it to save my life. Now that the Emperor had personally raised me, it wasn't necessary anymore. Third brother, this is the weapon that I made for you. It is suitable for life-saving use. Others will not find it easily. Third brother touched the weapon in his sleeve, pinched my fat face and said, "I'm indeed not wrong for doting you." At this time, I didn't know that this sleeve crossbow would really save the third brother's life. I cheerfully walked back to Qinzheng Palace. Behind me, Biyu trotted with a food box and followed me. As soon as I entered the palace, I saw Father Emperor was checking the memorials. It must be that he didn't do good things in his previous life, thus he becomes the emperor in this life. Just look, how hard his life is. There was a tearing sound. Chen Liangfu immediately stepped forward to replace the paper. "Have you chosen the ethic Momo?" Replying to the emperor, I'm still selecting. "Select quickly." "Woo, this cheap dad is so bad. He must be envious of me." The third brother set off. Before leaving, he didn't forget to ask a servant to bring me some new cakes and a message. "Wait for third brother to come back and take you out of the palace to play." It's what the third prince said. Biyu told me what the servant said and I nodded. "Then you must come back in intact, my third brother." "Sixth princess, we should continue studying. Otherwise, you won't be able to eat this cake today." I turned around bitterly. It was the Momo my father had chosen for me, Sheng Momo. She used to serve the Empress Dowager. A bit old and very gentle, but she really knew how to handle me. The emperor had personally arranged a maid to serve me. Her name is Hongyu. Together with Sheng Momo, she was bound to teach me to be the most ladylike princess. I was sure that after this teaching, no one would be able to find any mistake from me in the future. One day, I came to the Imperial Garden. I was sitting on the swing that the emperor personally arranged for me to make and thinking about my third brother. The gifts he promised me. "Second princess, you can't go here." I turned my head and saw a woman in bright clothes rushing towards me. Before I could react, she pushed me down from the swing. Hiss, it hurts. Fortunately, I didn't land on my face. Hongyu, who was picking flowers for me in the distance, immediately ran over and helped me up. "Princess, are you okay?" "Biyu, hurry up! Call the Imperial physician!" Something serious happened. I felt a burning pain in my knees. It hurted so much that I couldn't speak. The maid of the second princess, Zhao Siyue, knelt down in panic. "Aya, sixth sister, I'm really sorry. I rushed a little too hastily." Hongyu burst into flames. Anyone with a discerning eyes can see it. It was the second princess who pushed our princess on purpose. Hongyu is my father Emperor's secret guard. I knew it, but others didn't. Presumptuous. Who allowed you to talk like this to this princess? Someone, come and slap her mouth. Hongyu's eyes turned cold. She was about to take action. Jen allowed her. What do you want to do? To be honest, compared with the past 6 years when no one paid attention to me, it feels really good to have a father who dotes on me. At least when I'm being bullied, someone will stand up for me. At this time, I was sitting on my father's lap. The Imperial physician was giving me medicine, while the second princess was kneeling in front of me. It felt really good. Tangtang, does it hurt? I immediately pretended to have tears in my eyes. Father Emperor, it hurts, but I'm feeling so happy in my heart. This second princess is not a good person either. After Father was overthrown, in order to gain the favor of the second prince, she even kicked Father Emperor's remains. This made her the most favored princess in the palace. Ah! It hurts! What is Daddy doing? It hurts so much when he pinches me. Fortunately, my father immediately let go of my little fatty waist. Otherwise, it would have been broken. Sure enough, of the Emperor. There's some problem with his mind. I glanced at my father with a hint of resentment, only to see his cold, pool-like eyes staring at the second princess kneeling on the ground. kneel down until midnight. The palace maids and eunuchs behind him took a deep breath. Have you heard? Because the second princess herded the sixth princess, she was punished to kneel until midnight. She is so favored. Our sixth princess is so amazing. She coaxed the emperor to dote on her to the heavens. Yeah, so amazing. I hid behind a pillar and pursed my lips. Look now, it's causing a fire. But it's okay. Cheap daddy will probably protect me. Sure enough, as soon as I returned to the Qinzhang palace, I saw concubine Xian kneeling at the door. She is the birth mother of the second princess. Her gaze, upon seeing me, was as sharp as a sword. I made a face at her and ran into the hall. I'm not afraid even if you stare at me. Even though I'm a salted fish, I still have a lot of things in my mind. If the knowledge in my mind still can't match the aura of the male protagonist, at worst, I'll just take my father to run away from the dog holes. If my father wins, I will be a worry-free princess. If my father loses, I will be a business tycoon and take care of him. Oh, and there are eldest brother, third brother, and Chen Liangfu as well. Come here. Father's magnetic voice brought a hint of smile. It seemed that he was in a good mood. I walked over happily and drilled into my father's arms. How about we start from weapons? A thought came to my mind. Turning around, I looked up at my father. Father Emperor, daughter wants to paint. Can Tangtang explain to Zhen what you painted? I said proudly. Daughter gave the third brother a pair of homemade sleeve crossbows before. This is a larger version, which is more lethal. Daughter's arrows, even if made of wood, can also shoot through trees. Don't kid with me. This princess was an interstellar weapons manufacturer in her previous life. Although laser cannons can't be made here, it is very simple to make some powerful cold weapons. Father Emperor's eyes emitted bright light. Did Tangtang make the ready-made one? Oops. In order to emphasize the goodness of this weapon, I'm exposed myself. Will Father Emperor punish me? Making weapons privately is a serious crime. Jen, don't blame you. You were just playing around in the palace out of boredom, right? Yeah! This father of mine can still help me make excuses. Not bad. I felt relieved and asked Biyu to take out the crossbow arrows from my box. My father held it in his hand and looked at it carefully. It could be seen that the more he looked at it, the more delighted he became, and the more he couldn't put it down. What a good thing. Such an ingenuity. No wonder. No wonder it can be so powerful. Liangfu, come and see this too. This crossbow is really ingenious. Isn't it? It's powerful but light, suitable for battlefields and suitable for assassinations too. Ahem. My butt suddenly was slapped by a big hand. Then my father carried me out of the palace. Without even looking at concubine Xian, who was kneeling at the door, we came to the training ground. After clearing everyone away, father waved his hand and a man in black suddenly appeared in front of him. A secret guard like Hongyan. Try the power of this wooden arrow. Yes! With a whoosh sound, the arrow went straight to the target in the distance. Went through it completely. Then, the target fell into pieces. Father threw me up happily. I was so scared that I screamed. Zhen's dearest Tangtang, prepare the edict. The sixth princess, Zhao Tangtang, is well-informed and knowledgeable, noble but not wasteful, follows the rules without sluggishness, leads a good example, harmonious and benevolent. I will confer the title of Princess Hexiao of the third rank. Damn it! The third rank! Nuo! Chen Liangfu responded with a satisfied smile. My canonization caused an uproar. As everyone knows, my father is very stingy when it comes to granting ranks. Even the Empress summoned me several times and made my short legs very tired. Today, the Empress summoned me again. My view of the Empress is quite good. Although she used to be indifferent to me, she never stopped her two sons from taking care of me. That's right. Eldest Imperial brother and third Imperial brother are both the Empress's sons. When I entered the Sinning Palace, the Empress was sitting on the couch with a smile. It turned out that eldest brother is also here today. I took out the skincare products I made and presented them with my little hands. It has to be said that the ancient Earth is extremely good and rich in resources. The materials for anti-aging creams that were hard to find in my previous life are all available here. Hexiao, what is this? I stepped forward to pay respects and said, Mother Empress, this is the skincare product made by daughter myself. The Empress smiled happily and handed the skincare product to her personal maid. I know that before the Empress can use it, the palace maid needs to try it out for a few days first. I also attached a list of ingredients inside to facilitate inspection by the Imperial physician. You are really thoughtful. It was your eldest brother who asked you to come here today. Oh, I really didn't expect this. Eldest brother looked at me with a smile, touched my head gently and said, Father Emperor said I'm too lifeless and asked me to chat and play with Sister Hexiao more, instead of always reading book. The Empress also nodded in agreement. The most lively person in the entire palace is Hexiao. Although I was surprised, I quickly accepted the fact that I now had a little follower. Then, eldest brother, let's get out of the palace. Our request to leave the palace was quickly approved. As we left the city, eldest brother couldn't help but ask me, Sister, why don't we just play in the capital? Of course we wouldn't play in the capital. This eldest brother of mine had never stepped out of his comfort zone and was extremely well protected. Eldest brother, today's sister will take you to play something different. I smiled innocently. Eldest brother nodded thoughtfully. The carriage swayed for one shichen before we finally arrived at the destination I mentioned. In this place, there lives a man as genius as Zhuge Liang. The book said that because the second Imperial brother failed to win over him several times, he sent people to destroy his whole family. The carriage arrived at the village, Scholar Village. Because the scholar Yu Tongyan lives here, the village was renamed after him, Scholar. I was held by eldest Imperial brother's hand and stepped out of the carriage. Then we went straight to Yu Tongyan's home. An aunt was washing clothes in front of the house. When she saw a group of people dressed luxuriously approaching, she nervously rubbed her hands and cautiously came forward. I hurriedly said, before eldest brother could speak, Auntie, I am playing outside with my brother and my back is really sore. Can Auntie let us stay here for a night? The aunt smiled and said, Of course I can. There is a vacant room at our home. Nobleman, please come in. Then she turned her head facing the house and shouted, Son, there are noble people staying at our home. Come and greet the noble people. A young man opened the door and walked out. It's him, Yu Tongyan. At night, I had a separate room, while my eldest brother and Yu Tongyan lived together. After eldest brother and I finished eating, I whispered to my eldest brother quietly, This young man is a talented person. Eldest brother, you have to grasp him. Eldest brother looked at me in surprise. I stretched my body and went back to my room. After saying that, the rest was up to eldest brother. That night, I slept soundly on the farmhouse bed. In the morning, when I got up, my eldest brother and Yu Tongyan were having a very harmonious discussion. I was also very satisfied. As soon as Auntie saw me getting up, she quickly made breakfast. At the dining table, the two still couldn't stop discussing. It felt like they admired each other. After breakfast, I dragged my eldest brother to Auntie's farmland. Yu Tongyan also followed behind. Eldest brother looked at me blankly after I stuffed a hoe in his hand. I let out a long sigh and said, Eldest brother, have you ever heard the story of an emperor who asked, Why don't you eat minced meat? Yu Tongyan also listened up. I slowly said, There was once an emperor who asked his attendants, The people have no corn to satisfy their hunger, so why not they just eat minced meat? Such stupidity shows that it is inappropriate to make judgments without you personally experience it yourself. Now, eldest brother should also go to the fields yourself and feel the hard work of the people when farming. As for me, of course I would watch him doing it. The two of them suddenly realized, and Yu Tongyan looked at me with admiration. Brother Qi, although your little sister is only 6 years old, she has a very admirable character. Eldest brother also said proudly, My sister is always the smartest. After that, the two of them went to work in the fields together, making Auntie and Uncle very frightened. My eldest brother is also a strong-willed person. Although he almost couldn't straighten up his back after only a few sticks of incense, he still finished the farm work firmly until nightfall. When the night came, eldest brother couldn't help but sigh. It turns out that ordinary people live like this every day. Eldest brother successfully captured Yu Tongyan. After revealing his identity, Yu Tongyan was pleasantly surprised. Being a like-minded friend with a prince who won't be dazed? Eldest brother, you must guard your people's back well. Eldest brother quickly understood and brought Yu Tongyan's elderly mother and father together. Yu Tongyan was very moved. I also nodded with satisfaction. There were 3 more people on our way back. Time flew by like an arrow. Not long after that, heavy snowfall filled the sky. In the past few days, my father's face had been very bad. I knew it was because of my third brother. There had been no news from my third brother for more than a week. I was also very worried. I just hoped that the sleeve crossbow I gave him could be useful. Although I didn't believe in Buddhism, I still went to pray for my third brother every day. It made the Empress love me even more. I didn't really care about that. I just hoped that silly third brother, who always brought me cakes in the Imperial garden, could come back intact from head to toe. On this day, the snow was almost up to my knees. Biyu came running excitedly. "Princess! The third prince is back!" I stood up quickly. "Third brother is back." After hearing this, I stepped on the heavy snow and ran towards the Zekin palace, regardless of the obstruction of the palace maids and eunuchs. The third brother who doted on me the most is back safely. I brought the snow with me and ran into the hall. I immediately saw that familiar figure at a glance. He looked a little bit burlier and taller. I rushed over quickly, and the other party immediately hugged me tightly. At this moment, tears couldn't stop falling. It turns out that I have adapted to this era and this family. "Third brother? Whoa! Why do you come back so late?" Third brother patted my back in panic, whispered softly, and comforted me gently. "Hasn't third brother come back safely now? Be good, don't cry. Third brother will feel distressed. Hexiao, come to Zhen." My father spoke, but I didn't want to let go and buried my head in third brother's broad chest. "Father Emperor, son also wants to hug little sister." In third brother's arms, I listened to the whole story. It turned out that on his way, third brother met assassins and was kidnapped. Thanks to my sleeve crossbow, third brother could escape, but there was no soldiers left around him. He could only lurk by himself and quietly contact General Pingnan, who was guarding the south. So much silver and supplies must be taken back again. After months of planning, they finally cleared the assassin's den, retrieved the silver and supplies, and then sent them to the disaster area. They even plundered an additional 100,000 taels of silver from the den. Third brother handed over the token of the assassin's den. After I saw it, what a good guy! I knew it! It was the second prince. Isn't this eagle-shaped symbol the symbol of the second prince's private army? What a hateful guy! I really want to assassinate him, then peel his skin and break his bones. Why don't I really give it a try? I didn't know why. The Emperor suddenly glared at me. "You've worked hard. Go back and have a good rest." "Yes!" After saying that, the Emperor waved at us, letting us go. Third brother carried me out of the palace and pinched my fat face as usual. This time, it's really thanks to the sleeve crossbow that little sister gave me. "Third brother thanks you." Seeing that my tears were about to fall out again, third brother hurriedly petted me. The gifts that my third brother brought me were very rich, including fruits unique to the south. It can be imagined that to bring the fresh one for me, he must have spent a lot of effort to bring it back. Third brother also kept his promise and took me out of the palace to play wildly for several days. It was not until the Emperor urged us that I finally returned to the palace. During this time, I kept creating opportunities to provide things to my Imperial father, like potatoes and corn, how to make colored glaze, crankshaft plow, until one day, I was impeached. I was taken to the palace, and sure enough, it was the Prime Minister, that dog thief. "Your Majesty, the sixth princess must be a monster." The Emperor is bewildered by the monster. "The sixth princess must be burned to death." I walked into the palace leisurely. Imperial father's face was very livid. He was suppressing his anger. "This uncle, in your opinion, are smart people monsters? If that's the case, indeed you can rule out the possibility that you are a monster and my father Emperor can rest at ease." I smacked my lips. General Waiwu laughed out loudly, while the Prime Minister's face turned ugly. "You! What about me? You!" The Emperor slapped the table and said, "Who allowed you to point at Zhen's daughter? You are so courageous. If Zhen's Hexiao is a monster, Zhen really hoped that all the civil and military officials in the court are monsters too. What kind of monster will think of common people and Zhen's world's well-being? Is she a monster? Zhen knows it very well in my heart. Why are you impeaching Hexiao? Zhen also knows it very well. The Prime Minister knelt down in horror. I saw him and the second prince made eye contact. I knew that they couldn't help it anymore. The world had become more and more stable in the hand of Father Emperor, and the people's lives were getting better and better. If they still didn't take any action, there would be no reason to rebel anymore. In that case, even if the rebellion succeeds, the second prince would be labeled as having no moral integrity and be despised by the world. My guess was right. One day, while I was still in bed, I was picked up by Hongyu, and together with Biyu, we rushed towards Zichin Palace. The still drowsy me knew that it had begun. As soon as we reached the palace, the second prince led his troops in. Father Emperor protected me behind him. Third brother protected me in front of the emperor, and eldest brother protected me at my side. It's okay, I also dug a dog hole in Zichin Palace anyway. Father Emperor's back trembled. I thought he was scared, so I patted his thigh comfortingly. I couldn't help it. I was too short. Do you know what you are doing? The second prince said loudly. Of course Sun knows. The people are in dire straits. Sun is heartbroken. Why don't Father Emperor just let Sun sit on the throne, so Father Emperor can face our ancestors when you die? I couldn't help laughing. So damn shameless. The second prince shot me a murderous glance. Father Emperor and two brothers protected me tighter. Second Imperial brother, your words are really ridiculous. Nowadays, who doesn't know that the people of our Tianquan kingdom live and work in peace and contentment? They don't even need to close their doors at night. If you want to be the emperor, just say it straightforwardly. I'll look up to you a little bit. Making such lame excuses, you see whether the people will believe in you? See whether the courtiers will believe in you. I laughed so hard that tears came to my eyes and pointed at the second prince while saying, the second prince's eyes were red. He stared at me viciously. Maybe because I precisely said what was in his heart, so he turned shame into anger. He pointed his spear to the sky and said, You monster! Someone come! Since Father Emperor doesn't appreciate my words, kill him for me! Capture that sixth sister of mine alive! I sneered in my heart. I took out my sleeve crossbow and was about to give him a one-hit kill, but Father Emperor held my hand down. I looked up at him. Father Emperor looked at me with meaningful smile on his eyes. His gaze was very gentle. Hexio, don't dirty your hands. My eyes widened in shock. How does Father Emperor know? I saw Father Emperor waving his hand, and a group of secret guards immediately jumped down from the eaves. They started fighting. Outside the palace, there were also sounds of fighting one after another. Damn, Father Emperor was already prepared. I just didn't know how he knew about it. Logically speaking, the second prince was the male lead chosen by heaven. Even if he was stationing troops openly, no one would find out about it. No matter how hard I thought, I couldn't understand it, and I also felt a little regretful. Alas, the dog holes I dug for a long time is useless now. Father Emperor suddenly laughed. He picked me up and said, Then after everything is finished, will you take Jen to see your dog holes? All of a sudden, I was so frightened that my whole body became stiff. Father Emperor won. I was numb. It turned out that Father Emperor could always hear my inner voice. I felt like crying, but had no tears. Almost all of the words I said were treasonous. From then on, I avoided Father Emperor. How scary he is! I was ready to run away from the dog holes I once dug. I couldn't be this princess anymore. Fortunately, I've saved a lot of money over the years through careful planning. On this day, the moon was dark and the wind was high, which was a good day to escape. I carried my little baggage on my back and ran as fast as I could with my short legs. Finally, victory was in sight. It was almost there. Almost there. Ah! My nape! I was lifted up and quickly smelled the familiar scent of sandalwood. I didn't want to turn my head back. I died. Father Emperor caught me in the act. In the palace, Father Emperor, the Empress, the eldest brother, and the third brother were staring at me with serious faces. You've grown up, so you've learned to run away from home. I looked at my father full of grievances. Isn't it because of you? How terrifying it is to have your inner voice heard. Father Emperor lifted me up, laid me on his knees, and then mercilessly slapped my butt with his big hands. Hooah! I'm ignoring you. How dare you ignore Jen? After saying that, he waved away a few people whose faces were full of worry. Only me and my cheap daddy were left in the room. Hexiao, Jen really should apologize to you. Jen has been indifferent to you since you were born. Jen brought you to Zishan Palace because Jen discovered that Jen could read your mind. Jen found it very interesting. Jen also has used you. Jen is sorry for you, but from now on, Jen's love for you will be genuine. There will be no fakeness, nor will Jen use you. Jen swears to God in the name of this country. Jen really wants to be a good father. Please forgive Jen, okay? I looked at him. My mind were full of thoughts. In the end, okay. After all, he made the country as our oath. 10 years later, the eldest Imperial brother ascended the throne. Father Emperor became the Supreme Emperor, and I was given the title of a first-class Zhenguo princess. One day, Father was going to take me to the summer resort, and eldest Imperial brother saw us off in person. I helped my father get on the carriage. After that, I turned my head facing the eldest Imperial brother, smiled brightly, and waved my hand. What evil did eldest brother do in his previous life? This emperor position, even a dog wouldn't want it. Father's loud laughter came from the carriage. I had already gotten into the carriage, so I didn't see the new emperor's sudden stiffened body and face filled with disbelief. Xiaoduzi, did you hear what the Imperial sister said just now? Replying to the emperor, the princess didn't say anything.